NBA TV and you, the fan, are constructing the perfect NBA player. Using skill sets and attributes for current players narrowed down through a survey in which GMs and head coaches have weighed in, here are the choices for this week's category. Who has the highest basketball IQ in the NBA? Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving is special.
His decision-making as an offensive player makes him a candidate for MVP.
LeBron James.
He's got that awareness of always who's on the floor.
Kind of sees plays 2 or 3 plays ahead.
Chris Paul.
Just the second coach out there.
He makes it look easy. Right? This guy's a big-time player.
Now it's up to you to vote for your choice right now on Twitter and help us build the perfect player.
You can vote on Twitter at NBA TV until noon on Friday. The category this time, basketball IQ. And maybe somebody has quantified basketball IQ, but most people view it as an intangible that you kind of know it when you see it, right?
Yes.
I mean, I know teams do some testing in the combines and that sort of thing, but basketball IQ is one of those things you either have or you don't, and it doesn't necessarily show up as a measurable. What is it to you? What does that term mean to you?
When you're watching a guy play, Matt, and he's coming down the court and he makes the right decision 99% of the time, that could be the extra pass, boxing out, setting a good screen. It could be something that simple, Sekou, but you know it every time the guy plays because he very seldom makes the same mistake.
Right.
Not that he's a perfect player,
Sure.
but you understand that every time he comes down the court, either end of the floor, he's making the right decision.
Yeah, for me, it's more about the guy who anticipates that next play. Who's the guy who makes the play 2 or 3 steps away that the rest of the floor is not even thinking about? And that's a tough thing to do because it's about your basketball instincts as well as your IQ.
Yeah.
But to be able to marry those two things together and play at full speed against the other best players on the planet, that's the thing that separates an elite player with a super high basketball IQ from everybody else.
And that's why IQ, some of it is learned and some of it is just innate, right? You have a feel for the game, the angles, you anticipate stuff. Here are the 3 candidates we've given you: Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, or Chris Paul. Who are you voting on for the perfect player basketball IQ?
It's a tough list. We know Kyrie, Uncle Drew, scores a lot. We know Chris Paul, throughout his career, has always been looked at one of the perfect point guards. But I have to go with LeBron James with his size, making his teammates better year after year.
His size?
Let me finish, though.
The size of his brain?
No, the size that he can see places the average point guard cannot see.
I know.
And that's the part that makes things even more interesting for me because you would go with Chris Paul initially, but LeBron James' size, the point I'm trying to make is that that's what makes him a step further because when you can see other things other players can't see, that helps in your IQ, that helps in your anticipation, what's happening next that everyone can't see. LeBron James shows us that every night.
Yeah, I tend to agree with 3D that LeBron would be my choice in this category. And I don't want to mince words. I think Chris Paul's leadership ability and IQ married together makes him a different monster at the point guard position. Kyrie is a brilliant instinctual player, but I think IQ-wise, we've heard LeBron in some of these post-game press conferences at the finals where he's recounting play after play after play, which is unbelievable, which means you either have studied the game in ways that everybody else hasn't, or you have kind of an innate ability to see it differently. And I think LeBron has that extra sense that he sees the floor in the game in ways that not everyone else of his generation and really in the history of the game see it the way LeBron does.
You know, one of the arguments for CP might be something that coaches have told me over the years is that he knows every other team's plays by heart to the degree that he will tell the opposing players they're in the wrong spot on the floor, coming out of a timeout. He knows everything. He sees everything happening out there.
It's like that actor who's like reading his lines and then when somebody else talking, he's reading their lines to himself. You know, I think, but that to me is more about how you study the game and what it is you put into, your preparation, which is Chris Paul's preparation obviously is above reproach. To me, this is more, like I said, an instinctual thing. LeBron has a built-in computer in his brain about this game that he's shown us over the years, Streeter. You don't get to the heights he has. You don't join the clubs he has on the all-time list. You don't accomplish the things he has without having that extra level that you can go to and just in your basketball, like your understanding of the game and how to win night in and night out over the course of 16 seasons now. I think LeBron gets the edge in this category.
Might throw Rajon Rondo into that category.
Definitely.
Yeah, Rondo, to your point, Matt, how many times have we seen Rondo on the floor when the opposing team calls out 34 and Rondo saying, hey, pick and roll coming on the weak side of the floor or such and such? That lets you know the point guards or the other team are watching a lot of film to do things of that nature.
I have a feeling this is going to be another landslide for LeBron. We'll see how the voting plays out, but again, you can vote on at NBA TV on Twitter.